All right, people. Week 5 recap, week 6 preview. Not too much preview, more just week 5 recapping. Football is stupid. I think we've all confirmed football is stupid. I don't know why anybody enjoys this game. It is quite stupid. Sunday was just miserable. Sitting on the couch just right over here and watching that Bills game unfold, and I was so mad. And at the end of the game, Christy's just looking at me and she's like, "Do you want to leave the house? Do you want us to leave the house? What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I just want to go out in the backyard and scream the F word and and I hate that this game controls my emotions that much." Monday I was walking around, I was fine, more focused on the Yankees game at that point, but I was doing okay. But Sunday I was miserable, and I'm miserable. I make my family miserable. And I hate, and I recognize it. I get that it happens, and I don't want to feel this way, but this game makes me feel this way, and it drives me nuts. And then vice versa, if Monday night we go out and we win this coming week, I'm going to feel elated and, overcome with joy, and I'll be so happy. And I hate that football controls me this much. So rant completed. On to fantasy. Now that we're done talking about real football, I guess we can talk a little bit more about real football. I was in a training today, and then I saw the alerts pop up. I just assumed it was the Devontae Adams trade, but nope. It was bye-bye Robert Saleh. So Jets fans, tell me how you feel about it. We'll go from there. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is running that team, and we'll see how that all shakes out. Giants, nice win. Congratulations. That it's a solid win going into Seattle. Seattle is I still don't know what to make of them exactly, but they definitely look pretty competitive. And so to go into a tough place to play, tough place to play, and come out with a victory, especially a victory with no Malik Neighbors. Props to the Giants there. JJ, it's Drake May time. Congratulations. We'll see what the kids got and go from there. I have a feeling the way this season's been playing out thus far that Jared Mayo might be in over his head. Him and Antonio Pierce both appear to be in over their heads. Maybe hiring a guy who just got done playing to be your coach isn't the greatest idea in the world. These guys don't seem to quite have that coaching factor thus far. But we'll see how that shakes out. Marissa, congrats on the win, beating the Dolphins or beating the Patriots by a toe length. But hey, wins are wins. And at the end of the day, Dolphins are one game back of the Bills in the division. So, as long as we keep playing like crap, we'll leave the opportunities abound for you guys. And then obviously our game, we deserve to lose our game the entire time. We should not have been in a position to win that game, but at the end we were in a position to win that game. So it's all the more frustrating that we blew that. I don't have a huge problem with throwing the ball at the end. For everyone's just like, how don't you just play for overtime? The Texans have a stud kicker, and the Texans had 3 timeouts there, and we're backed up in our own end zone. If we run the ball 3 times, we're just punting it to midfield, and they're going to do the exact same thing, kick the game-winning field goal. So I'd rather take a chance at getting the first down. My problem was with the actual plays that were called. We shouldn't be throwing fades down the field to Mac Hollins. There should have been something designed to get 5 or 6 yards. And I would have liked to maybe run the ball on first down. Maybe James Cook breaks off a 6 or 7 yard run, and then you would have had a much better chance of getting the first down in that position. So I had many coaching issues with the game. Throwing the ball at the end wasn't necessarily one of them. On to next week, Bills, Jets. Me, Zach, Aaron, Justin will be at the game. It sounds like maybe Marcel and JJ are going to be at the game too. This will be a big week for all of us. Off the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you who the Patriots and the Dolphins are playing. I think the Dolphins have a bye week. I don't know who the Patriots are playing off the top of my head. Couldn't tell you the Giants are playing off the top of my head either. Oh, Giants are playing the Bengals, right? I believe that's the Sunday night game. All right, on to fantasy. At least this went my way this week. Got the 137 to 84 victory over Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. His team had a disappointing couple of weeks here. My team, Joe Burrow carried me. 33.78 points. Obviously, he had a huge game. T. Higgins had a huge game. Jamar Chase had the biggest game of the week. We'll get to that when we get to Aaron's game. So that was nice. Brandon Ayuk finally showed up for me, 22.7 points. And Javonte Williams had a nice game. He looked good in the Jets game, even if it wasn't a lot of fantasy production. And this game started to put it together a little bit more. Scored 16 points without scoring a touchdown. So, he scores me a touchdown one of these weeks. He might be looking at some 20-point games and some very good RB2 production. For Kyle, James Cook was fine, 18 points. But then Prescott, McLaurin had that one big catch, but that was it. Unfortunately, his team did not show up for him. Fortunately for me, they did not show up. I improved to 3-2 on the season. Kyle falls to 2-3. On to our highest score of the week. Justin, for the second time this year, is winning that $25. Justin, big games at a Mooney. I mean, when Darnell Mooney goes for 31.5 points on Thursday Night Football, you're probably in for a bad week. But Mooney with the big game, Kyler with a good game, Tolbert with a good game, including the game-winning touchdown at the end of the Steelers game the other night. So that went for Justin. Tommy had a good week, 149 points, but not enough to beat Justin. I went through and looked at the scores. There was nothing Tommy could have done differently to make up the points. He had one good bench performer, but it wouldn't have made the difference between winning or losing. DJ Moore had a big game. Tucker Kraft has been producing, and Wan'Dale Robinson. The guy who's hurting Tommy right now is Patrick Mahomes. Despite the fact the Chiefs are 5-0, Mahomes is throwing 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions this year. He's been pedestrian, but they're 5-0. So I hate football. So that improves Justin to 4-1. It makes Tommy drop to 4-1. We no longer have an undefeated team, and they are tied among the top standings there. Moving on. Tough game here. Richie almost pulled out his first win. Richie loses 141 to Larry 145. 4-point battle there. And unfortunately for Richie, the points were on his bench. Not necessarily a choice I would have made, but if he starts Ray McLeod over Jordan Addison, again, I'm not saying this is a decision I would make, but the points were there for him to win the game if he switches those two. For Richie, Slayton with a big game, Giants defense with a big game. That blocked field goal for a touchdown at the end was a big factor in that. Kyle Pitts, the unicorn, showed up. He's back, baby. He's back. Start him in every league, which means next week he's going to go for like 3.2 points. And then for Larry, Mike Evans started off with a multi-touchdown game to start the week, and then Trey Sermon with a good fill-in. Jordan Love didn't really have a big game, but gave him 16 points. But Larry was just consistent production across the board. Everybody scored 15 points, and Larry pulls out that victory, 145 to 141. That improves Larry to 3-2. That drops Richie to 0-5, battling with Courtney there at the bottom. One of them is looking very likely for the 2-4-6-8 challenge. So start prepping, guys. Start prepping. And as long as Courtney continues to not set up a full lineup, it's probably going to be him. Although Courtney has not gotten the lowest score once this year, which is impressive. Moving on, we've got Marissa versus so that's what C said versus Chase is on the case. So basically Jamar Chase versus CeeDee Lamb, and Marissa versus Aaron here. Aaron with a dominant victory, 159 to 112. For Aaron, we talked about Jamar Chase. He was the highest scorer in fantasy football this week. I benefited from him in Keogh's league, which was very nice. I had Chase and Lamar Jackson in that game, so that definitely pushed me to victory there. DeAndre Swift with another good game. Not quite as impressive as the week before, but another good game. Jaden Daniels continues to impress, not just in fantasy football, but in real life. He looks like a stud. The Commanders might be the best team in the East. And then for Marissa, Joe Flacco had a nice game, and Brock Bowers continues to impress. Unfortunately, nobody else on her team did, and that's where she is at. So Aaron goes up to 4-1. Marissa goes down to 1-4. Moving on, our reigning champion, Marcel, taking on Courtney. Marcel with a 128 to 72 victory. Nothing crazy on Marcel's team. Kareem Hunt had a good game. That's looking like the Chiefs running back you want. I picked up CEH in about every league a week or two ago, thinking in a week or so when CEH comes off of IR, he should slot in and become that guy. Kareem Hunt's making it look not likely, so I might be dropping CEH in about every league in about a week or two. Justin Fields, his fantasy production's been up and down, but it was enough to get the victory today. Whittington from the Rams, the rookie replacement for Puka and Kupp, played a pretty decent game. And then for Courtney, monster game from Lamar Jackson, 33.5 points, and then didn't have another single performer score over 10 points. And then he also started Jaylen Warren. He started somebody else, I can't remember, but he started a couple guys who weren't even playing this week. Fill that lineup in, Courtney, and avoid that 2-4. Listen, you might only have to win one game to avoid that 2-4-6-8 challenge. Because if what's going to happen eventually is Richie and Courtney have to play each other, and when they play each other, that's going to end up deciding who's winning that, who's losing that challenge. And so Courtney falls to 0-5. Marcel goes up to 4-1. Moving on, we've got the low score of the week, Mr. Zach, against Christian McKillen, my fantasy team. JJ, his whole team's dead, and he's busted off 3 straight wins. So, congratulations. That has showed great perseverance. Congrats on that. Like I said, no McCaffrey, no Cooper Kupp. Jonathan Brooks still isn't off of IR yet. And JJ is, in 8th place right now, but tied for 3rd place, essentially. Actually tied for 2nd place, really, because there's no 5-0 team. So JJ with the 130 to 55 victory for Zach. Whew. When Jason Myers with 9 points is your second highest scorer, you got a bad week. I mean, it's hard to set up a lineup that only scores 55 points with everybody in your lineup playing. Obviously, he got ravaged by injuries with his first-round pick. Jonathan Taylor got hurt and didn't play this week. Pacheco, his either second or third-round pick, is out with injury. I think he had Calvin Ridley on a bye, somebody else hurt. So he didn't have much of a lineup to set, but the guys he did set just didn't even show up. So bad day for Zach. He owes us $5. And then for JJ, big game from Drake London right off the bat. And then George Kittle with a nice game. Hubbard really didn't have a nice game, had that one nice run, but that one nice run was enough fantasy points to produce. JJ up to 3-2, Zach down to 2-3. Moving on, we've got Hawkua versus Gangrene. A couple of Jets fans going at it, and Ken and Rob. This was a close game, 139 to 129. The points weren't there for Rob to win, but they were there to be very, very close. If he had replaced, who was it? I'm going to go look at the score. He had somebody that he could have switched out. I think if he had not played Xavier Legette and instead, was it Legette? Yeah, he could have benched Legette, who scored 1.8 points, and instead played Austin Eckler. If he did that, he still would have lost. So it is what it is, but he would have only lost by about 0.2, which would have been pretty interesting coming down to the wire in the Monday night game there. But ultimately, Ken gets the 139 to 129 win. Ken did cost the Jets a win, though, this week, and ultimately got Robert Saleh fired because he started Rodgers, and we've gone over this. If he starts Rodgers, the Jets lose. So I'm really hoping that you elect to start Rodgers again this week, so this way the Jets can also lose. But Ken wins, and he improves to 4-1. As you can hear, Christy and the kids are now home. Ken wins, improves to 4-1, and Rob falls to 1-4. Let's take a quick look at the standings. And here's what we're all looking at the moment. So we've got 5 4-1 teams. That's pretty impressive. They're in the current order of Justin, Marcel, Tommy, Aaron, and then Ken. And then at the 3-2 squads, it goes Larry, me, JJ. So we have 3-3-2 teams. And then for the 2-2-3 teams, it goes Kyle, Zach. Then we get to 1-4, it goes Rob and Marissa. And then finally at 0-5, it goes Richie and then Courtney. So that is where everybody's standing at the moment. Again, football's stupid. It is what it is. And, good luck to everybody next week. Go Bills. Look forward to seeing you guys all at the game.